We did the Milo condensed milk run. This is the result, all proofed down and ready to be tasted. Hello and welcome back to another Beaver DIY day. First off, sorry for being absent for a while now. Work just got the better of me, and yeah, I've been quite busy the last couple of weeks and didn't get around to my hobby. Doesn't it bother you when your work gets in the place of your hobby? We're back now, and we did the Milo condensed milk run, and I have to say this was probably one of the most interesting runs I've done in a very long time. First of all, the run did not run like anything else I've ever run before through the still, and secondly, I did not get the yields that I expected out of it. I got a lot less. Just spoiler alert, a lot less than I expected. I think, maybe help me down in the comments, but I think what happened is that there's a lot of undissolved, no, not undissolved, but unfermentable material dissolved within this wash that did not ferment out. Yes, it fermented out. I did test it with the hydrometer. It went down to a 1000. At the end of the day, it was very difficult to run. So number one, I had to run my still a lot hotter than I normally run it, about 15 to 20% higher on energy consumption than I normally put into my elements. Yes, I did add a slight little bit of active reflux into it, but not that much. And then the other thing that happened, which is really interesting, is with all that heat that I put into it, I wanted to take it off at roughly about 70%. This thing ran through my cuts in the hearts at 80%. My 4 shots on my heads I took off at 92%, and then the moment I started moving into my heads and I started to do the heads run, not the heads run, the hearts run, it's bumped up to 80%, and didn't matter what I tried to do, increase energy, decrease reflux, it stayed on 80%. Pretty strange run. And then, like I said in the beginning, the yield wasn't very high, so I only got 1 liter at 70% off in my hearts. So I did not take a lot of tails, because I've got a question for everybody when we're done with the video here, what we're going to do with the back set. So yeah, you guys are going to have to give me some information on that. As it came off the still, the first smells and stuff that you got was a bit sour. It smelled like yogurt, and then once we started going into the run, we ended up with almost baking sugar, sweet smells coming off the still with that hint of condensed milk. So when you take condensed milk and you pour it over a hot cake or something, over like a malva pudding or something, when you pour it over, you got those smells of that hot, milky, sugary smells coming off. Before I carry on rambling and we get into the taste test side, we're just going to pop over to Past Beaver. He's just going to quickly show us what the wash looked like before we added it into the still. And once again, spoiler alert, we did clarify. So let's pop over to Past Beaver. This fermented out in 5 days. So after 5 days, this wash was all fermented out. And during the fermentation, it started off with the molasses rum kind of smells, and then it started slowly changing over into almost sour milk, but not all the way. And then right at the end, it changed completely into a very sweet, fruity yogurt with absolutely no smell of molasses anywhere within in the wash. Then what I did is, after 5 days, I racked it over into a secondary fermentation vessel, which is this one over here. And then what I did after that is I crushed it, whatever, one of the two, and I allowed it to become clear. Still wasn't very clear, so I then decided to add some bentonite to it. And yeah, what happened with the bentonite is, as you will see now, it became relatively clear. So the first stage was very milky, and now it became clear. You can't see through it, so I believe that's as clear as I can get it in a decent amount of time. So it has now been 10 days. It's time to transfer this into the still, get the still up to temperature, and then let's do the run. So I can't really remember what past Beaver said there, but as far as I remember, we had to clarify and cold crush this cross. I keep on getting tongue-tied on that word there. We had to spend a little bit of time, and about 5 days of time, to get this wash to clear. If you think you can run it, or you feel you can run it without running the clarification cycle through it, yes, please do it. And if you get results, please let me know. I would really be interested in finding out what your flavors were then when you ran it without clarifying. So let's get into the tasting of this condensed milk rum wash. First of all, the smell coming off of this is once again that sweet baking sugar, like when you are baking a cake, that fresh sugar getting to temperature, and it's not like melted sugar. It also has a milky, almost like yogurt, not sour at all, sweet yogurt smell. I did proof this down last night already, so I left it overnight so the flavors can just mellow out. So yeah, let's get into the tasting. And there's nothing better than tasting booze early in the morning. You do get a small kick of that molasses licorice, unlike on the nose where you don't get any molasses or any rum smell off of this. You do get that trademark rum flavors on your tongue, but it goes away almost instantly. All that's left over is that sweet taste on the back of your tongue. Just want to compare this to a rum here. I know this is not a 100% fair comparison, because this is the rum we did on the channel a while ago, that pre-spiced rum that we did. It was on oak for 2 months. So yeah, this is immediately on the nose. You get that molasses, licorice, banana flavors. Yeah, that's 100% rum, and this tastes nothing like this. I know this has oak in it and all the other fun things that changes the flavor drastically, but even the base flavor on this has absolutely nothing of it. So I don't know if the condensed milk overpowered the molasses and we ended up with this thing. And yeah, it's like nothing I've ever tasted, but it is absolutely delicious. It's sweet, tastes like Freshka, because Freshka tastes like nothing. It is something I will definitely try again, and that is exactly why I saved the back set, because when it came off the still, I immediately loved the flavors that came off. I want to know from the community out there. Pop it down in the comments or send me an email. My email will be floating around. What must we do with the back set? Are we going to do a continuous cycle run with it, meaning we are going to take that back set, put it back into a fermenter, top it up with some sugar, and top it up with some molasses and some condensed milk again? Or are we gonna not add condensed milk, only add molasses? And yeah, give me your idea of what we must do with the back set there. And like I said, I think there's a lot of unfermented stuff still left over in that wash there, and I am really interested to see if we start running it as a continuous cycle run to see what kind of flavors we can pull out of that, because I am very in love with these flavors right here. For the aging, because this has such a sweet, milkshakey, milky goodness flavor on it, I think what will go very well with this is a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of caramel, and then we are going to age it on a trio of oak. So for the vanilla, we are going to add, this is 1.5 liters, proof down to 50%. So for the vanilla, I'm going to add about a tablespoon. There we go. Caramel, same thing, about a tablespoon of the caramel essence. And then for the oak, so for the 220, smallish staves there, equal flavors of the 120, as well as a charred, uncooked version. Smoke on there and dunk it in. Close it up because I want that smoke in there. So that smoke just imparts some nice sweet flavors. Give it a quick stir and there we go. That's the news on the condensed milk rum. Final synopsis of it, guys. I will encourage you to really try this recipe because it is something completely different. To my taste, I like it. I will experiment more with these condensed milks in my washes with different types of brandies and that type of stuff. So yeah, in a couple of months I will be doing a direct comparison between these two to make it a little bit more fair. I want to see if the wood punches through those sweet, sugary, milky flavors in this and pulls out some of those molasses flavors. We'll see what the result is on this. Cool. Now over to some channel news. As you will see in the title, when you clicked on this, there's some channel news. And if you can see behind me, my father-in-law kindly tracked down a copper geyser for me. Now this is a copper water boiler geyser thingy-mabobby, and we are going to be converting that into a still on this channel over here, and I need everybody's help. What I mean about that is everybody's input is going to be added into this product at the back there, and the still will be used on the channel. How we're going to do this is, number one, comments, email suggestions on what you think we should do with the still, as well as we will be adding up some polls on the community page here, where you can go and vote for the different options that we're going to do with the still. The first options will go up very soon when we decide the volume. So the first decision we're going to have to make on this still here is the volume we are going to be building it at, meaning how many liters or gallons, if you're one of our American friends, how many liters or gallons we are going to be making the still. That means simply, are we going to make it a 20, 25, 30, 40, 50, or are we going to keep it at 100 like it is now? In a couple of days, check on the community page. You will find the options for the sizes and we can start voting. And like I said, this is going to be a complete community involved project. So everybody on the channel, new, old, whatever, you will be having a say on how the still is built. And then everybody that contributes to this will have their name engraved on the still as well. So we will have everybody's names engraved on the still for all eternity. As always, thank you for sticking around to the end. If you like the kind of content, please hit that subscribe button and wave a thumbs up. It helps the channel a lot. And yeah, have a lucky day.